Hare Krishna. So we continue our discussion on divine qualities described by Lord Krishna in 16th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā, first 3 verses. And we discuss still in the first verse, which is Abhayam Sattvasham Shudir Jnana Yoga Vyavastiti Dhanandamascha Yagyascha Svadhyayas Dhanandamascha Yagyascha Svadhyanam Tapa Archavam. So we discussed yesterday Svadhyaya, or study of the Vedic scriptures, and today we'll discuss Tapa, or austerity. This is most feared process of spiritual understanding is tapa, but it's very significant that the first instruction in this universe given was tapa, austerity. Yes, when Lord Brahma tried to figure out who he is and where he is and what is his purpose. He was searching his origin in this lotus on which he was born, and he was searching down the stem and he couldn't find any origin. And then he returned to the top of the lotus and he heard the divine voice, Tapa. And it is said that this divine voice is Krishna's flute, actually, the sound of Krishna's flute. So, if you want to be close to Krishna, to approach Krishna, to develop love for Krishna, in this world we have to go against our nature, actually. Because our nature is to be materially bound. Yes, it's to be conditioned. From time immemorial we are conditioned. And so tapa actually means to voluntarily accept inconveniences in our life in order to achieve something higher, to achieve what we want to achieve. Actually, everyone who wants to achieve anything has to undergo some trouble. In Slovene, we have a proverb that without a toil, we cannot put even a shoe on. So, even if you want to put the shoe on your foot, you have to undergo some trouble. Yeah, and older you are, the more trouble you have to undergo to put shoes on. Yes. So, and yesterday we were in Liege with devotees performing Harinam, and I saw one person. No rain, no flower. This famous "no pain, no gain," but he had written "no rain, no flower." So. Everyone acknowledges that some pain is needed to achieve anything. And yes, if you want to achieve, if you want to, for example, to study and to achieve the title of PhD or something, we have to undergo many troubles. In fact, and we have to give up so many nice things that people consider nice. Yes, if we say to people what way of life we are living, they are wondering, why do you live at all? Yes, and in these 4 pillars of religion, tapa is the first. Tapa kshocham daya satyam. Iti pada kriti pada. Adharma shestra ubhagna smaya sangabadeshchava. So, by gradually it's explained in first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that yes, in beginning with Satya Yuga, the 4 pillars were established as tapa, kshocham, daya, satyam. The first pillar is tapa. So, yes, and Lord Krishna explains in Bhagavad-gītā, also he speaks about tapa in different places. He mentions tapa in 4th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā when he explains different types of yagya. And one of yagya is tapa yagya also. So austerity is also one form of yagya or sacrifice. And as we know, Krishna in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad-gītā, he explains yagyartat karmano nyatra loka karma bandhana tadartam api kaunteya muktak sangak samachara. That every work, and every work as we just realized is also tapa, should be performed as a sacrifice for me. And thus you will be free, you'll be liberated. And as Lord Chaitanya explains, the pure form of liberation is bhakti. It's actually only way to be liberated is bhakti. To have love. Yesterday we said that spirit is interested only in love. Life is interested only in love. Without love, there's no meaning of life, actually. And no one would be alive if there would be no love. Yes. No one would care at all for anyone if there would be no love, at least some traces of it. Yes. So no one would exist without love. And everyone is interested only in love. Yes. Maybe we are deluded and think that we want money, we want prestige, we want this and that. But why do we want all these things? To be attractive. Yes. To invoke love. Because attractiveness evokes love. That whole Krishna is all attractive. Yes. And if we imagine that we can have everything in this world, that we can do everything in this world, but if there would be no one that would love us, that life would be completely miserable, isn't it? Yes. And if there would be no one that we could love, life would also be completely miserable. Yes. We would rather see that one bird would land on our finger, that we could have loving relationship with this bird, than to any riches in this world. Yes. So love is the only thing we are interested in. So how tapa or austerity is connected to love? It's strange, isn't it? Because tapa means inconvenience. Yes, voluntarily inconvenience. But actually, love means sacrifice. Yes. No, it's okay.
It's okay.
Yes. Perfect. Thank you. Life means actually sacrifice, austerity. Yes. If someone is not ready to do anything for other person, to undergo any trouble for other person, there is no love. therefore, in order to realize that we are not, that love means that we put ourselves second, and the object of our love is the first one. Yes, this is love. In modern world, everyone, and actually from time immemorial, everyone wants to be the first one. Yes, and therefore there is so much conflict in this world, because everyone wants to be the first, and no one recognizes this. Yeah, therefore, there is conflict between husband and wife, conflict between children and parents, conflict between students and teachers, conflict between nations, so many conflict on every level of existence. Even if you take a drop of blood and you look under the microscope, there is some particles in fight, blood particles in fight with some intruders. So, conflict on every level of existence in material world. Yes. Because we want to be number one. And austerity is to accept the fact that we are not number one. And therefore, as we mentioned yesterday, it's so important that we don't take these qualities within themselves. Yes, that I perform these austerities and other, and try to be good person, fearless, and so on. Without bhakti. If we take it without bhakti, then everything is useless. Everything is useless. Yes. We can see that in the history, of Vedic history, there are great tapasvis who undergo extreme austerities, who underwent extreme austerities, but without bhakti, everything was useless. For example, Vishwamitra, he underwent austerities for thousands of years, and then some tinkling of his ankle bells of Menaka, and everything was gone. All austerities of thousands of years. Because there is need of love in the heart. Yes, and these austerities cannot, if they are performed just to achieve some goal, cannot satisfy the heart. So Krishna, in 17th chapter, he describes that there are 3 types of austerity. And first is austerity of body, then he describes austerity of speech, and austerity of the mind. And actually all these types of austerities, also of the body and speech, include the mind. Because we have to be conscious of what we are doing, and this of course cannot be done without a mind. So austerities of the body is Devad Vijaya Guru Pragya Pujanam Shauchamarchavam Brahmacharyam Ahimsacha Shariram Tapa Uchyate. Deva means God, or demigods, sometimes translated, but actually means God. Even demigods are some kind of small gods. So we should worship first the Lord, then we should worship Brahmanas. Brahmanas are those who know what is Brahman, what is spirit. We should worship Guru, and we should worship some authorities like parents and teachers and so on. And it's very important what this actually means. Human being is actually living entity of worship. we all worship someone. Even the most ardent atheists are worshipping someone. And if we can see this, if you see the walls of the teenagers, they have images of different idols, their worshipable deities. Some singers or movie actors or some personalities. And actually, everyone has some picture in the wall. So this expresses their affection, their ideal of beauty, maybe, or state of consciousness in modern art, or anything like this. So anyone worships something, and if we speak of someone, we actually worshipping him in some way. So it's very important that who we worship. Yes. So the first worship should be directed to the Lord, to the Supreme Lord. Yes, but this worship of Supreme Lord cannot be properly done if we don't worship his tadiya, or his associates, his devotees, everything that is connected to the Lord. Yes. So and brahmanas are spiritual leaders of society, so are also worthy of worship. And Guru is the foremost personality, should be the foremost personality in our life. And therefore, it's so important that we accept the Guru who is devotee, who inspires us in surrender. This is actually true Guru, who inspires us to surrender completely, without any reservation. And such a Guru is most worshipable. And it's very important that such surrender to such a Guru is very sincere and genuine. Because if you are not sincere in accepting a Guru, the time will come that we'll start to hate our Guru. Yes, if we are not sincere. Because what does it mean to accept a Guru? Actually, it means that we accept the second position, that we are number 2. Because Guru, by definition, is number 1. The Guru should be followed, the Guru should be worshipped and revered. And if we put Guru on first place in our life, and we are not sincere in this surrender, if you just accept Guru because of fashion or because of social pressure, and we are not sincere in this surrender, then the tendency will come to find faults with Guru. Yes, because we are accustomed to find faults. Yes, from time immemorial. There was once a Catholic bishop. I read this many years ago, 30 or 35 years ago, I don't know. He protested, he was from South America. He protested that gossip shouldn't be counted as sin anymore in Catholic Church. And his argument was because everyone is gossiping. you cannot avoid it. So it shouldn't be counted as a sin. Yes, this was his argument. Yes, everyone is gossiping. Everyone is finding faults. It's actually one of the most pleasurable activity in material world. Is gossiping. Everyone is gossiping all the time. So this prajalpa is one of the worst obstacles in devotional service. Yes. So we should be extremely cautious of gossiping. Rather be completely silent than to gossip. And if we hear other gossiping, we should go away. Yes. Because this is, in material world, this gossiping is nectar. One of the most succulent nectars. Yes. And why? Because we want to be number one. Because we don't want others to be superior. And therefore we have to prove to ourselves and to others that this particular person is not actually worthy of worship or consideration. He's not as good as we are who are gossiping about him, this person. Jai Shri Shri Radha Gopinath ki jai, Shri Shri Garnita ki jai, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Mahi ki jai, Nitai Gaur Pramanande. So yes, this surrender should be complete and from our heart. And yesterday I was reminded by Ananda Gopal Prabhu that today is Easter Sunday. So, we can also speak about this tapas connected with Lord Jesus actually. He also expressed on the Easter day, he resurrected according to Christian faith from the dead. He was crucified 3 days before, and after 3 days he resurrected from the dead. But before this happened, he knew that the suffering will come to him, and he prayed to the Lord. He prayed to the Lord that, please let this cup of suffering pass by me, but not mine. Your will let it be. So this should be our attitude. We don't suffer with pleasure. Usually we are not masochists, but even masochists find some pleasure in suffering. But real surrender, real tapa, is to accept Lord's will. This is to understand. We should understand this. And the Lord is benefactor of everyone. The Lord also, when He instructs Brahma and others, of course, in tapa, He's not some kind of a sadist. Let the person suffer. Yes. But He's Bhoktaram yagatapasam sarvalokam akishwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam gyatvam shantirvichiti. He's suhridam. He's well-wisher of every living entity. Yes. In third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam it is explained Svaipriyatamashatma yatona bayam anvati, that one who knows that the Lord is his benefactor, well-wisher, he's not afraid of anything. Yes. And such a person can be guru of everyone. If he has no trace of fear in his heart. So everything we undergo, we may be afraid of it, but if we understand that Lord is my well-wisher, we accept everything for my benefit. I should understand it's for my benefit. And why should be I afraid of anything? Because it's for my benefit. Yes. And so the guru is one who is completely surrendered to Krishna. At least we should accept such a guru. We shouldn't accept one who has any other motive in life as a guru. So therefore, Guru is Sakshat Haritva Samasta Shastra. He is directly Hari. And Lord Krishna also explains, Acharya Mam Vijanyat Navan Manita Karhichit Namartya Putya Sureta Sarvadeva Mayo Guru. That I'm the Acharya, I'm Guru. Therefore, don't be disrespectful at any time. He should be worshipped. Yes, so if we accept such a guru, therefore we should know that he is also my well-wisher. And Prabhupada signed every letter as your ever well-wisher. Yes. So whatever is Guru's instruction should be our life and soul. And Prabhupada mentions in the second chapter of Bhagavad-gītā, and he quotes Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, that yes, we should accept an order of a guru as our life and soul. Vyavasyatmika buddhi ekakha kurunandana bhushaka kanantascha buddhayo vyavasayana. If we don't accept the order of our guru as our life and soul, with one-pointed intelligence, vyavasyatmika buddhi, then we are very much influenced by material desires for material prosperity. Because we want to be happy. This is our nature, ananda mayo vyasat. Every living entity wants to be happy. Whatever we do, whatever we think, whatever we say, is searching for happiness. We are pleasure-living entities, pleasure-seeking living entities. We cannot live without pleasure. Therefore, Krishna says that Vishaya vinivartanti niraharasya tihinah rasa vracham rasopasya parandraštva nivartanti. That even if we try to control our senses without higher taste, it will not be possible. It will not be possible. And higher taste comes, ruchi comes only if we are fixed in something. Yes. Once Mataji Devaki explained, she was, I believe everyone knows Mataji Devaki, she's famous. She was a handball player in her previous life, before Krishna consciousness. Handball player, and she was a goalkeeper. And she explained that once she played with such eagerness and enthusiasm that she didn't notice that her finger is broken. And only after the game she noticed that one of her fingers is standing like this. And then only the pain came. And we all have this experience also. We notice at certain time that there is some pain, but we don't know where we got it, why this pain came. You have this experience?
Yes.
Yes. And sometimes because we were absorbed in something else, so we didn't notice that we hit something, or then we just realize after a certain time that it's some pain there. We all, I believe, we have experience when we eat something in haste. After we have finished the eating, we realize that we haven't tasted anything. Do you have this experience? Yes. So, absorption enables us to taste anything. So therefore this nishta, or absorption, to be fixed, is so crucial in our spiritual life. Because without absorption we will not be able to taste anything. Yes. So we have to become absorbed. And we cannot become absorbed if we don't try to be absorbed. If we are not really struggling to be absorbed. And this struggle is tapa. Yes. Therefore, the most important austerity for devotees is to regularly chant the holy name. This is the only spiritual vow that we give to our spiritual master, to chant at least 16 rounds without offense. These 4 regulative principles are actually our vow or promise that we will not live sinful life. But only spiritual vow is that we will chant without offense 16 rounds, at least 16 rounds, minimum. Yes, minimum doesn't mean maximum. Yes. Minimum is something to barely survive, actually. Yes, to keep our head above the surface of the water. Yes, I believe in every country there is some minimum wage prescribed by the state, isn't it? It's also in Belgium like this. Some minimum wage, as considered by the state that we can, that person can survive with this amount. Yes, and those who survive this concentration camps, he also survived on minimum. So we should be careful that we shouldn't not accept this minimum standard. We should go beyond the minimum. Yes, and when we chant, that we really try to absorb. So no disturbance should come between us and our chanting. So first thing is switch off your phones. Because phone is the ultimate distractor of modern age. Yes. So lock it in another room and switch it off. No sound should come from the phone. Yes, because immediately attracts our consciousness. Yes. So, yes, and no talking should be allowed in our life during chanting. No talking, not doing anything else, because we should understand this chanting of the holy name is most intimate time with the Lord that we can imagine. Yes. Some acharyas say that it's like Nikunja Seva. That means most intimate service to Radha and Krishna. So, can you imagine with your wife or with your husband in your most intimate time, and you start to scroll your phone? It's an offense, isn't it? And kills the intimacy. And definitely kills the intimacy. Or we start to read newspapers, or looking through the window, or anything like this. Yes, it's an offense. So, our foremost austerity should be our chanting the holy name without offense, and we should know what are the offenses. Yes, and gossiping that we mentioned before is also one of the offenses. Yes, one of the great offenses to the holy name. Yes. And this is our worship of our Guru, to accept this spiritual life extremely seriously, to go deep in our life, in our spiritual life, to go deep. If we stay on the surface, nothing will happen. People are lazy. Yes, it is said in the very beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, the people are extremely lazy of this age. And always disturbed. So, therefore, and one of the faults of the conditioned soul is to cheat others and oneself also. And we cheat ourselves many times, regularly. We cheat mostly ourselves. And not just devotees, but every human being actually has this tendency that he thinks that if I do something externally, because this is most easy to do something externally, we will achieve some profound result. But it's not possible. Even if in material world, if you want to be Olympic gold medalist, we have to go deep in our sport with all our heart. Once I've read some statement of some marathon runners. I also run marathons, so I read something. Some Kenyan runners or something, they had this motto: there is only one level of dedication, total. Hare Krishna. So this should be our attitude. There's only one level of dedication, total. Yes. If we lack in this type of dedication, we will not achieve our goal, actually. Yes, we'll miss it. But people are lying to themselves. If I stay on the surface, if I finish my 16 rounds, somehow or other, I'm catching my rounds and doing so much nonsense during my chanting, the time will come suddenly, from nowhere, I will develop prema bhakti. Or after death, because Krishna is merciful, I will go to the spiritual world. But this is common illusion. Yam yam vapismaram bhavantya chantanti kalivaram tam tam aveti kanta sadhatu bhavavata. As whatever state of consciousness one has at the time of death, he will achieve the same state of consciousness without doubt. Yes. Therefore, it's crucial to go deep, to develop taste. By going deep, we can develop taste. Without going deep, we will never develop taste. And only when we develop taste, we become attached to something, isn't it? If it tastes good, we are becoming attached. Yes. Therefore, people are attached to so many things that pleases their senses. Sex life, sweets, other things, enjoyable. Yes, some adrenaline sports. Because we become attached to something that tastes good. Yes, that brings some enjoyment. Yes, and only by attachment, by asakti, bhava can appear. Real deep feelings for something. Yes. So, without this absorption, without trying to absorb it, and this is tapa, and it's first requirement, also in bodily austerity. Yes. And therefore Krishna mentions also brahmacharya, yes, Deva Dvija Guru Pragya, Pujanam Shocham Archamam, and cleanliness. Yes, cleanliness is next to godliness. All these different things are just to support our fixation on the Lord. So what is most important is to fix our consciousness. Yes. It is mentioned, Smarta Vyaksatatam Vishnur Vismarta Vena Chatuchit Sarve Vidinishedaksyur Etar Eva Kinkara. That all these different prohibitions and injunctions of the Vedas, and the Vedas are full of different injunctions and prohibitions. Also in the Bible, these 10 commandments, there are some injunctions and there are some prohibitions. For example, have faith in one God, this is injunction. Don't steal, don't kill, thou shalt not kill, is prohibition. So there are different injunctions and prohibitions in Shastra. And all these different injunctions and prohibitions are servants of only one injunction and one prohibition. And one injunction is to always remember Krishna. And one prohibition is never forget him. So yes. So when Krishna is mentioning this, Deva Dvija Guru Pragya Pujanam Shocham Archam, is actually to always remember Krishna. But if our life is not godly, if it's not divine, and cleanliness is also one of the element of divine consciousness, we cannot remember Krishna, we cannot become absorbed in Krishna. Yes. And simplicity, this is also one of the divine items that we'll discuss from 16th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā. So these are interconnected, these qualities. Tapa is included in yagya, and archavam is included in tapa. So yes, the simplicity. And brahmacharya. So these bodily inconveniences, that we give up something that we are addicted to. Yes. We are doing it just to achieve something higher, to achieve some greater taste. Because everything in this material world is just the source of misery, as Krishna himself explains in 5th chapter. Yehi sansparsha bhoga dukkha yona evati adyantavanta kodanateshu ramade buddha. Because we are addicted to bodily pleasures. Why? We said that we are anandamaya vyasat. By very nature, we are pleasure-seeking living entities. And as long as we identify with this body, we want this body to be perfectly happy, to enjoy. It's natural. But this body is perishable, but we are eternal. Therefore, it's not possible to enjoy something eternally. And in this body. And more pleasure we derive from something on the bodily level, more we become attached to it. It's natural, isn't it? More pleasure, more something is pleasurable, more we are attached to it. And because everything is temporary in this material world, yes, everything has its beginning and its end. Therefore, its dukkha yonaya gives birth to misery, because we will lose it. We lose this pleasure sooner or later, and more we are attached to it, more we suffer when we lose it. Therefore, we can see that usually husband and wife, or if they have loving relationship, they are very much attached to each other. And if one dies, the other also dies very quickly. If this is the only ideal or goal in life, to be happy with your spouse. Yes, you can see this, and I believe you have also experienced this. I saw many cases like this. Yes, so therefore we should seek this ultimate pleasure. We should therefore first teaching of Krishna in Bhagavad-gītā and also of Prabhupada when he came to the West is that we are not this body. We should first understand we are not this body. Because if we don't understand this very clearly, all our spiritual practice is cheating, religion. Actually, all these kinds of meditation, as we have heard this on Thursday here, Prabhupada's lecture, is just a farce. He said it's a farce. Yes. So-called meditation without this bhakti is a farce. Because we want to promote our bodily well-being. Whatever we do in this material world, it is devoid of bhakti. It's just to promote our material well-being, somehow or other. And we will be disappointed. Definitely. This is the nature of this world. We will be disappointed. We will be cheated. And we want to cheat God. Therefore, people believe at the time of death, I'll go to heaven. At the time of death, I'll go to the spiritual world. Yes. We are attached to material life, our idea of going to heaven, our idea of going to spiritual world is actually material. If we don't develop this service attitude, that I'm the servant of the servant of the servant. Then we have material idea of spiritual world. Yes, why I want to go to the spiritual world? Because I want to enjoy. And I believe Shastra, that spiritual world is the utmost enjoyment. Isn't it? Yes. But Krishna understands our jargon, yes, our way of speaking. He understands our true desire. Our true desire is to materially enjoy. Therefore, he will give us, and devotees are pious by nature, so he'll give such a devotee who's not trying to really connect on a deeper level, he'll give him heavenly pleasures, because that's the thing he really wants. He uses different language, but in his heart of hearts, he wants pleasure, material kind of pleasure. Yes. Because our action is indicator of our desires. Yes. Lord Jesus said, whatever the heart is full with, that will come out from our mouth and also through our actions. So if we keep our material attachments in a life, we'll be allowed to keep them forever, because spirit is free. Krishna is absolute freedom. And therefore Prabhupada said, if you have a desire for one chocolate, we'll get the body to taste it. Yes, spirit is free, so we can choose what we want. And therefore this faith is so important. Krishna, we discussed this tapa, and Krishna says also in 17th chapter, Ashradaya hutam dutam tapastaptam kritam ched asati turjete parta nachatat pritya noiha. That if we perform some austerities without faith, really, in the process, it's asat and will give no result either in this life nor in the next. So yes, if our faith is meager, and actually all these levels of bhakti is levels of deepening our faith. So as long as our spiritual life is not at least on nishta platform, our faith is not really strong. We have more faith in material life. Yes. Then our faith is in material life is stronger than in spiritual life. And as long as our faith in material life is stronger than our faith in spiritual life, we'll maintain our material existence. We'll struggle for our material existence. Not that we'll just be given our material existence, but we will not we will not let it go. We'll keep it. We'll fight for it. And therefore we mentioned yesterday this and this is very difficult exercise, not to defend oneself in any circumstance, even if we are accused of something that we haven't done. And Chakragram Prabhu reminded me yesterday of some famous story regarding to this, of Srivas Thakur. There was a very envious so-called Brahmana, Gopal Chapal, who wasn't allowed, of course, to join the Sankirtan party of Lord Chaitanya. He was extremely envious of Srivas Thakur, and he put different paraphernalia for Durga worship on the step door of Srivas Thakur, some wine and meat and some disgusting substances. And Srivas Thakur, the next day when he saw these items in front of his house, he didn't try to defend, someone put this here, and tried to defame me. But no, on the contrary, he invited his neighbors, and he said to them, just see, the truth of me is revealed. What I am doing during the night. Hare Krishna. So yes, as long as we struggle for our material existence and we defend it, we defend our name and fame. We want to prove everyone how good we are. As long as we have this type of consciousness, we cannot penetrate deeply in our spiritual life. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya stresses so much this Trinada Pisa Nichana Taro Ribasa Krishnana Amanina Manati Naketanya Sadahari. And Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami says that one should thread this verse on the thread of the holy name and wear it around his neck for constant remembrance. Yes. So we should constantly remember this verse, Trinada Pisanichna. One should be more humble than a blade of grass, as tolerant as a tree, and not expecting respect from oneself, but give respect to everyone. Yes, this is very difficult, and that should be our tapa. That should be our austerity. Not to accept respect from oneself. This is very difficult. For example, we are many years in the process, and here it is a community of devotees, and it's natural that we at least want to be heard, that our opinion is heard in the society with devotees, for example. And that we are cared for, that someone cares about us, how we feel, if you feel sick or if you are well, and if we are not cared for, we feel dejected or insulted even. But we should understand that we shouldn't demand any respect for oneself, that we are noticed at all. Maybe people even don't notice us. And we can be insulted by this. But this is not amanina. You should understand this, that we are utterly insignificant. Of course, it is a duty of devotees to recognize other devotees and care about them. But if we have at least slightest expectation for this, it's not amanina. So we should understand this verse deeply and try to imbibe it in our life and go deep, especially in our chanting. But we cannot chant the holy name without this type of consciousness, with the Trinada Visnachana. Yes, therefore, this absorption in chanting should be considered for most importance. Yes, that we give up everything else and just absorb in chanting. No distraction should be allowed. So you should lock the door, switch off the phone, and just chant. Hare Krishna. Is there any comment or question or doubt?
Thank you, Prabhu, for many deep points that you mentioned, you explained or touched. Just a little question about, you quoted a verse from Bhagavad-gītā, where Krishna says that any activity that is performed without faith will yield no results. On the other hand, we hear about agyata-sukriti, unknowingly performed devotional activity or by accident. So what's the value of that, and how we could see these two things, or what's the value of agyata-sukriti then?
Very nice question. It is very interesting in the story of Ajamila. It is explained by our acharyas that when Ajamila was, we can say in some sense, perfect Brahmana, he performed different sacrifices and so on, prescribed in the Vedas. He didn't have full faith, he didn't have faith in bhakti actually. And therefore, in every yagya, there should be chanting also the holy name of the Lord. This chanting of the holy name, when he chanted the holy name without faith in bhakti, when he performed spiritual activities, his chanting yielded no bhakti result. But when he lost his faith in karma, his attitude was not offensive towards bhakti anymore. So when he named his son Narayana, this was agyata sukriti, we can say. This was namabhas bhakti by itself. By nature, it is bhakti to speak the holy name of the Lord. But because, of course, this was also abhas, this was not bhakti itself, he was nevertheless saved. So, agyata sukriti means that we do something unknowingly, some bhakti activity unknowingly. This is actually agyata sukriti. Therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur calls it bhakti unmukhi sukriti. That it's bhakti unknowingly performed. And only such unknowing sukriti, so-called sukriti, bhakti unmukhi sukriti, after many, many, many lifetimes can give some inclination to perform bhakti consciously. Yes, because this inclination to perform bhakti consciously is what counts, really. So, but as long as there are offenses in our heart, it's not possible to achieve a proper result. And not having faith in bhakti when we perform some spiritual activities is also one of the offenses to the holy name. Yes, because if you consider chanting the holy name, for example, to be some means for my material prosperity, is an offense, for example. It's the 8th offense to the holy name. And there are many who chant with this prayerful mood to be healthy, to get good husband or wife, to get better job, and so on. So yes, we should understand that anyone who develops desire for performance of bhakti, develops at least some drop of faith that developed from some service to devotees, somehow or other, some unmotivated service. Yes, or hearing the holy name from the devotees or anything like this, some connection to the devotees without any expectation, unknowingly performed. Yes. So that in itself is bhakti, but because it's unconscious, and not with desire to please devotee or Krishna, gives result only after many lifetimes of such activities. Yes. But as long as we don't have faith, we will not achieve the ultimate result. Yes. So this Agyata Sukriti will not give us ultimate result. It will not give us prema, but opportunity to start our devotional service. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Bhagavata-dharma Prabhu. I really like this point you're making about performing spiritual activities, but at the same time developing full faith. When you speak about it, it reminds me of Srila Prabhupada, how he struggled, all these austerities, we know all about it, and the only weapon he had is the money, the wealth, nothing with full faith.
Yes.
So that's the realization I got. And I have one question. You started your class by mentioning the first canto, and you were talking about 4 pillars, and the first one was the tapa, and one of them was daya. What were the other 2? You mentioned them in Sanskrit. I couldn't write so fast.
Excuse me, what is the question?
You mentioned 4 pillars.
Yes.
And the first one was tapa, you
Yes.
said in the first canto.
Yes.
And one of them was daya. What were the other?
Tapa Shaucham.
Yes.
Shaucham is cleanliness.
Yes. Oh, yes. Socham
And Tapa Shaucham Daya is mercy.
Mercy.
Yes.
All the 4 pillars of that. Yeah,
Yes.
I know austerity.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And Satyam.
Yes.
And truthfulness.
Thank you.
Yes.
I thought you were mentioning the Sanskrit. I couldn't translate the Sanskrit. Sorry.
Tapak Shaucham Daya Satyam.
Yes.
Iti pada krite krita. That it
Exactly.
was established in Satya Yuga.
Yes. The 4 links. Yes. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for your attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi.